check this out. All right, on one of my recent scuba diving trips, I found this reel. All right, this is a, sorry about that, Shimano Tiagra, I guess is how you say it, 30 weight. Now I looked this reel up and it's about $700, but it was at the bottom of the ocean. It's been there for a little bit, but not too awfully long. It still kind of works. This is the rod they had it on. This looks like about a $10 Walmart rod. Super flimsy. I don't know why you would do that, but that's all right. Their loss, my gain. Also found this reel. Now this one's a little worse condition. What we're going to do is we're going to clean these things up. Now I'm going to start by soaking them in white distilled vinegar for a while and see how much that loosens everything up. Just going to take our reel, put it in the bucket. We're going to go ahead and put the other one in there too. That one might not end up being usable. All right, take our vinegar. We're going to just pour it in. So it's not quite enough to cover the top of the reel. What I'll do is I'll let that side soak for, I don't know, 10 or 12, 24 hours, and then flip it over, do the other side. So it's been 48 hours now since I put the reels into the vinegar. Now what I did is at 24 hours I went ahead and flipped them over because, like I said, it's not completely covered. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pull them out of the bucket and see how much of this stuff comes off and how easily. All right, here we go. A lot of stuff's already came off. Okay. This stuff's just coming right off. Look at that. See how good this does. Yeah, came all right. Yeah, that's nice. It's coming right off. Tell you what, we're gonna see if we can blast some of it off with the water hose. Huh, look at that. Still got some in there. Get a brush. I'm going to take this whole reel apart, resurface it. Alright, let's take a look at this guy. See if it's worth messing with or not. Well, maybe. See what it is. Penn Battle 3, 4,000 size. Penn Battle's pretty good reels. Yeah, this will be worth trying to clean up. I'm gonna say the vinegar works pretty good. All right. Well, I think the next step is to disassemble both of these reels completely and clean everything up and then see what we're working with. All right, now that we got the outside of the reel somewhat cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and disassemble it, and we're going to clean the inside. It does have some issues, you know, like this crack right here. I don't think that affects the functionability of the reel at all. We're going to tear it apart, get it all cleaned up on the inside, and see what we end up with. It's not horrible. It's got some corrosion in here, and it's easy to clean. Not horrible so far. I have to re-spool this line. Alright, so I got it initially taken apart, just the left side and the right side. Got the spool off, and then the spool holder, whatever that's called. But look down in here. It's a lot of debris and trash. Needs to get cleaned out. This side wasn't bad, but that side definitely needs some work. Alright, so we got this side taken apart and cleaned up. Got the bearing packed nicely with grease. And these are our clickers. So we're going to get it all put back together now. Alright, one side cleaned and put back together, all greased up. Let's get started on the next one. Alright, so we're working on the spool now. So I've got it taken apart. It's got some pretty nastiness on it. Look at that. Look at all this. Yeah, so we're going to clean this up. Alright guys, we're getting toward the home stretch here. We're done with the left side, the spool, the drag, all of that. All that's done, cleaned up. So now we're getting ready to start on the right side. We're going to take this one apart and get it all cleaned up, and we're going to get this reel back together and see if it works. Alright, we got this side all tore apart and cleaned up. Now we got to try and put this thing back together. There's a lot of little springs and pins. I don't know. We'll see if it ever runs again. Well, she's all put back together and ready to go. This is everything seems to be working like it's supposed to. Free spool. Now, we did have one little screw left over, but it was on purpose. So in here is where the drag washer is, and as you can see, this wheel has a little bit of damage to it, and there's also a little bit on the drag washer cover in here, what the screw would screw into. So it wouldn't screw back in. So we got 3 screws on the drag washer. I think it'll be just fine. I did leave some of the old line on there. This line is in excellent condition. I took a lot off the top. I don't think this reel was down but maybe a month or 2 at the most. So next step, take this thing out and see if we can catch a fish with it. Okay, now that we're done with the Shimano reel, we're going to move on to this Penn Battle 3. It's a 4000. I'm going to go ahead and get it pulled apart and cleaned up and see if we can get it working again. Alright, first look inside. This reel is definitely in a lot worse condition. I'm pretty sure both of these reels came off the boat at the same time. Just goes to show you how the different materials they're made out of make such a huge difference on growth and how long they last. All that. Get this reel all taken apart now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak it in some dish soap and water, and let's see if we can get some of this corrosion off of it like that before I start scrubbing. We'll get everything cleaned up on this reel now. I've got all the hardware and that little cap right there soaking in WD-40, all the screws and all that. So we're gonna clean those screws up and then reassemble this reel. So we got everything taken apart and cleaned. So now we're gonna start putting this reel back together. So we came to a problem. Inside of the housing here, a screw goes into this hole right here, holds down this piece here. The issue is the outside walls of this screw hole are broken off. So now this entire housing needs to be replaced. The housing is about $24 plus shipping and taxes. The reel right now is on sale for 90 bucks, and it's on back order. Not the reel, but the housing is on back order. So I'm not sure it's worth investing any money into this reel to get it going. There's a couple other issues with it. On the gear, you can see the side of this gear. Paint is chipped off and it's just not in excellent condition. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this reel for parts, but I'm not going to actually try to repair it and use it, unfortunately. So there were several other things we found on that dive as well. where we found the reels. We also found another reel, a chum cage, and a spear gun shaft. Now, you notice my spear gun here is missing a shaft. So what happened is, on one of my previous dives, before I actually lost the shaft on my spear gun, I found this shaft. Now, it was right down there where those big rods were that we found on that dive. So then I went on another dive, and at the safety stop, some fish came in. So I decided to shoot one of the fish. It was a spade fish. Now I shot him, and he took off down toward the bottom and started doing circles, which is very common. And what he did is he wrapped my line around over and over and over, and the shaft was not in the fish, it was through the fish. So then a big barracuda came in and ate the fish, and in the process cut my line. Now, like I said, we were on our safety stop, so we're 15-20 feet. The dive depth was 100 feet, so it was on that wreck dive. So we weren't able to go back down and get it, which we probably wouldn't have been able to find it anyway. So it just so happens this shaft will work with this gun. Now, the diameter is a little bit smaller, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the shaft up, and then we're going to go, and I have a target that I use, so we're actually going to use that underwater target and make sure this shaft shoots correctly out of this gun. So that's what we're doing right now. And that was pretty easy. So all I used was a wire bristle brush and a piece of sandpaper, and this thing looks new again. All right, so now I'm going to get it fitted to the gun, and I got to put new rope on it, and we'll see what it does. Got her all set up. Now, unfortunately, we've had a lot of rain over the last couple of days, and my canal is murky, and we're getting more rain here in a little while, so it's not worth taking the boat out. But next time I get out, I'm going to go and, like I said, set my target up and give this thing a test run, see how it does. We'll let you know. So we made it out to one of the sandbars. This is the only place on the Gulf side I can find any clear water. Man, this looks pretty good though. So what we're going to do, we're going to get in. I mean, it's still very windy. I'm sure you can tell how much wind is blowing by the noise. Probably looking at about 20-mile-an-hour winds coming from the east. Okay, so what we're going to do is, we got our spear gun target. Now all this is an exercise mat, like a puzzle piece where you snap them together. All right, put a little target identifier here in the middle, my X, and then it's just a piece of PVC pipe with the exercise mat zip tied to it. And then I've got a couple of pieces of 550 cord with some weights tied to it. So this is what's going to pull, the weights will pull the target underwater, and then we can shoot at it with the spear gun. Okay, so I know it's going to be hard to hear me, but I got my target set up. The visibility is not great. I got about 10-15 feet. So here we go with the first shot. I'm only going to use one band to begin with, just to make sure this shaft reacts like it should. Alright, everything seemed to be fine. Honestly, I cannot even see the X I drew on that target, so who knows where I hit at. Alright, so I'm going to reload, and we're going to use both bands this time. Okay, we got both bands loaded up. And we're getting ready to see what we can do. Alright, that seemed to work just fine. So we're going to go ahead and close this sunken treasure video out. It was really fun finding all that stuff and being able to use it again. And I'll catch you on the next one.